So in this question we're told that a right angle triangle has a hypotenuse of length 13 centimeters and another side of length 5 centimeters, and we're asked to find the last side length. And so what I always do when we're dealing with trigonometry here is to basically draw a diagram, so we can basically draw this little triangle. We know the hypotenuse is going to be 13 and another side is going to be 5, so I'm just going to make that the side over here on the left, and then make sure we label our right angle as well. And we can call the last unknown side x, because that's usually what we use in maths, just to label an unknown quantity. And so you can see here that we've got two side lengths and we're looking for a third. And this is going to be your key clue basically to use Pythagoras' theorem. So we use Pythagoras' theorem when we have two side lengths and no angles. If we had an angle here instead of a side length, we'd have to use our trig ratios, but luckily we don't have to do that here. And so now we can just set up our equation. I always put the hypotenuse on its own first on the left hand side, and that's going to be the hypotenuse to be squared is equal to the known side to be squared, which is 5 squared, plus the unknown side to be squared, which is x squared. I'm actually just going to write down Pythagoras' theorem here on the right hand side because there's no harm. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where the really key piece of information for Pythagoras' theorem is to have the hypotenuse on the right hand side on its own. So that's really important, and once again our hypotenuse is always going to be opposite our right angle. So now we basically end up with this equation involving x squared, and so what I'm going to do is just get x squared on its own. So we get x squared is equal to 13 squared minus 5 squared. And so now we can start simplifying things, and 13 squared is going to be 169, and then we're going to have minus 5 squared, and 5 squared is going to be 25. So we get x squared is equal to 169 minus 25, which means that x squared is equal to 144. And so now we can basically find the square root of this. And the square root of 144, you can always double check using your calculator, but the square root of 144 is going to be equal to 12 centimeters. So that's a nice whole number. And basically when you have three whole numbers, so we can actually draw it in here in our diagram. So now x now is equal to 12, and that's going to be our final answer. But when you have three whole numbers like this, it's called a Pythagorean triple. So another example is going to be 3, 4, and 5, which is quite a famous one. So where the hypotenuse is 5 and the other sides are 3 and 4. And these are basically well known because they're all whole numbers and they're all going to work out really neatly in your questions. But x is going to be 12 centimeters in this case, so that's going to be it for this one.